Hey guys, it's Vincent with vascotoys. In this episode of Action Vasco, we're going to be taking a look at a pre-order piece that I currently have available, a city rooftop wall-mountable diorama. All you have to do to order this piece is DM me on one of my channels at vascotoys on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or send me an email at vascotoys@gmail.com. Let's take a look at this piece. City rooftop diorama that we have for pre-order at the moment. It is $110 plus shipping. So the way that it works is that when you pre-order the piece, I ask for 50% deposit up front, and then upon completion I'll ask for the final 50% and the shipping costs, which I'll calculate at that time for anyone who orders this. But as far as the measurements go, it is 16 inches across. It is 7.5 inches deep, and it's about 18 inches high. The base piece of the diorama, which is made to look like a portion of a city rooftop, is made almost completely out of insulation foam. The only thing that's not is the VASCO logo in the front that is 3D printed on my Kingroon KP3 printer. The rest of it is made with the insulation foam I always use, and I used a hot wire foam cutter Proxxon to make all of these support pieces, cut this down, and kind of cut everything into place. Then for this, of course, there's a lot of brickwork, so what I did was what I always do: measure the bricks out using an X-Acto knife, cut them into place, then use a clay sculpting tool to dig in and give the bricks a more defined spacing between them. And then I took a screwdriver, flat screwdriver, and pushed in some of the bricks so that we have a recessed brick look, which I think is really, really cool. And then from there, it was really from a painting perspective, just a bunch of dry brushing. So 2 different color grays on the gray areas, and then a base coat of red, and then some dry brushing of a orange on top of that to get the brick color that I always use, which I'm pretty fond of, and I hope you guys like it too. So the next thing I want to do is take the backdrop out and show you guys that and talk about the creation of that, and then show you how this comes together. And then the final thing we'll do is we'll put 2 of these together, and then you guys can see how it will look when if you have two of these and you combine them for one big rooftop. So here's the backdrop, which is the first for me. This was created in Illustrator, and then it was actually colored in Photoshop. I've never done that before with a backdrop, and I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Josh Green, Sage JDG on Instagram. I totally butchered his name in my building facade video, so apologies for that, Josh. But he's the one who kind of gave me tips on how to use those tools as a beginner, and then also some art theory tips about perspective as I was creating these buildings. So this was actually, the way that I did this was I got a royalty-free image of a New York City skyline from a lower perspective looking up like I wanted, and I put that into Illustrator, and then I did all of the line work tracing over the way that looked. And then there were some things like this building and this building weren't actually in that shot, and this one in the front. So I actually just created those from my own imagination and added them in here. And then I wanted to make sure that it made sense from a shading perspective and lighting. So I have in this setup, the sun is kind of back here and shining down, so you'll notice the shading on these sides of the buildings has sort of a sun glow, and then the other sides of the buildings have the darker feel because the sun is not shining directly on them. But this is printed directly on foam board. It's a 16 by 16 foam board sheet, so I'll turn this around just so you guys can see. There's nothing on the back. It's pretty sturdy though. The printer let me know that these are pretty durable. If it somehow gets a little bit wet, it's not gonna damage it or anything like that, so that's good. And it's pretty solid, so it should be pretty sturdy for the long haul for the customers that do order this piece. But the next thing I want to do, we'll go to another shot and I'll show you guys how this all comes together. Now I'm going to show you guys how this all comes together. So the diorama itself is held together with the backdrop with this custom designed 3D printed part. It is basically measured so that the 1-inch pink insulation foam fits here, and then the backdrop foam board will fit right in here. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. There's two of these. I'm going to take this up just so you can see how these go on. They just slide on. They're fit pretty snug. And then all you have to do is take the backdrop, make sure it's lined up, put it in, and then you can put your figure in here and you're ready to go. So if anyone orders two of these, you can combine them, put them kind of back to back, and they should be flush, where you can create like a full rooftop, and that's what I have here. So I have two pieces together. Of course, if you do it this way, they're not going to mount to a wall like this. This would be more for toy photography. And then the way that the 3D printed part works with the backdrop, it's not connected to either of these pieces right now, but it balances on its own. You just have to kind of be careful as you're placing it because it could fall down, this backdrop piece. That's it. I'm gonna just move this out of the way. So I haven't had this Venom in any of my videos yet, and I am waiting on my Retro Spidey to arrive, which is what really, when that came out, that's what inspired me to make this piece. But so for now I have the House of M Spider-Man standing in here. But this Venom figure is very, very cool for anyone who doesn't have him. I didn't do the Build-A-Figure one, so when this version came out, I was all over it, had to get it, especially with the Retro Spidey on the way. I thought it would be super cool to have him to take photos with. But with the rooftop, I think, you know, whether you get one piece or two pieces, I think that it's really going to be something where you can have some versatility. If you want to hang this on a wall and just display your Spider-Man, Daredevil, Batman, anybody who would make sense on a rooftop, you can do that. Or if you wanted to go this route for toy photography and combine them together, then you could start to even add in pieces like an air vent or like an HVAC unit, or I don't know, a stairway door that you could put in the corner, and then you could really kind of build on this and have this be your starting point. So this kind of thing, I hope you guys all think is versatile. That was kind of the idea behind it, and I hope that you like the way this looks when the two of them are combined. Alright guys, so now I have the diorama mounted to the wall. You can see the backdrop is there. It mounts with the backdrop on, no problem. It has two hardware pieces that are 3D printed and super glued in, so they shouldn't give you any issues being on the wall for a long time. And as you can see, I have Spider-Man in here right now. I'll put a heavier figure. Venom's not as heavy as some of the Legends, but there he is in there too, so you can see you can put a good amount of figures in here and have it be sturdy, because I have the two wall anchors on each side, and it should give you a lot of really cool display possibilities. It comes out about 7.5 inches from the wall, so you've got to keep that in mind. It kind of does stick out a little bit, but essentially it becomes a shelf that you can put your figures on that, you know, has a little bit of artistic style to it. So I hope that you guys like the way this looks. Okay guys, so here's an ACBA shot using the Ultimate Marvel Legends Spider-Man that I actually just got today, and he is getting ready here to just kind of jump off this ledge and shoot his web out and swing to go fight some crime. So you can see part of the diorama. You can definitely see the background, which is not in focus. The focus is on Spidey, and very simple shot, but I think, you know, something fun that you can do with this diorama, and you can do similar things with, you know, Daredevil and other characters as well. So let me know what you guys think of this setup. Had to get a shot of Monster Venom and my Ultimate Spider-Man. In this shot, of course, Spider-Man wants no part of getting hit by Monster Venom, and luckily for him, he's extremely quick and agile. So he's dodging a pretty powerful blow from Monster Venom here, and he is going to hopefully live to fight another couple minutes here with him. So let me know what you guys think of this. Wanted to try to get some use out of these newer figures that I got in this new diorama that I'm offering. Thanks everyone for watching this episode of Action VASCO, where we took a look at my pre-order City Rooftop Wall-Mountable diorama. Please leave me a comment, let me know what you guys thought. Did you like this diorama? Do you think there are things that I can do to improve? Are there other pre-order pieces you might want to see in the future from us? That would be great feedback for me to have. And then of course, if you do want to pre-order this piece, please DM me at vascotoys on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And while you're there, please give me a follow. Other than that, you can also email us, vascotoys@gmail.com. Thanks guys, we'll see you in the next episode.